Welcome to the New Planner Podcast, where it's all about helping you successfully enter the financial planning profession and accelerate your financial planning career. This podcast will help you understand the profession, become familiar with the various career paths available to you, and avoid the mistakes that limit your success. Join your host, Caleb Brown, to explore the human side of creating a successful planning career through interviews, personal experience, and insights from the trenches. Let's get started.
Welcome to the 179th episode of the New Planner Podcast. This is Caleb Brown, your host. My guest today is Joshua Wardle, a financial advisor with Holistic Planning in Nacogdoches, Texas. Josh joins the show today to share how he transitioned into the financial planning profession after 4 years as a youth minister. Listen as he shares how his desire to help and serve led him to start a financial coaching business, which then led him to seek out full-time entry-level opportunities as a full-time financial planner. Check out the middle where he talks about going through the interview process with a large broker-dealer firm, getting rejected, why he didn't give up, and what steps he took to continue to try and break into the profession. Listen to the end two where he shares how he found his current firm, why it is a good fit, how his role has developed during his tenure, how he built confidence, brought in clients, and earned the trust of his supervisors to begin building out a satellite branch where he lives. If you're considering a career change, then this episode is for you. Hi, Josh. Welcome to the New Planner Podcast.
Hey, Caleb. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for reaching out. I mean, this is really cool. I mean, this is an opportunity for you to come share your story and just kind of pay it forward. You messaged me on LinkedIn and said, hey, you had an impact and would love to talk with you. So here we are. So maybe just start with, because you're new to this. I mean, you've been in the business, what less than a year, right?
Correct. Yeah, less than a year. Started with our firm in July.
So that's July of 2023. We're recording this in March. So yeah, this is great, man. This is exactly right. So just maybe set the context for us and what were you pursuing? And then we can talk about why you decided to pivot to financial planning.
Yeah, absolutely. My entire background, educational background from college and master's degree was all around youth ministry. Got my bachelor's degree in youth ministry at a small school in Kansas, Central Christian College. And from there, I went into a program in East Texas that allowed me to work and do youth ministry at a church, but it also paid for me to get a master's degree in youth ministry as well. And so that's been my focus for a while. At the same time, I had a side hustle, if you will, doing financial coaching. It was very much, the Dave Ramsey's financial coaching program, and learned a lot through that.
That's the financial piece? Is that what you're talking about? Is that?
No, he's got his own actual financial coaching, certified financial coach, right? Yeah. I actually never taught any financial piece classes or anything like that. My work was very much with clients, helping them budget, debt snowball, all that sort of thing. But I really, as I was learning about all this stuff, got intrigued by the investment side of things, but I couldn't give any advice on any of that. Wasn't licensed in that area, but I found it to be so vitally important, especially as I was helping folks that were trying to retire in 10 to 15 years. And, the only thing I could do is refer them to a financial advisor. And doing that kind of as a side hustle really made me want to just kind of look into this industry and pursue it a little bit more. And coming from a ministry position to what I do now, I find that to be very foundational in the sense of I'm here to serve people. I'm here to help people in just a different area. I see it as a ministry, as many advisors do. We're out here to serve people and help them in an area they don't quite understand.
Yeah, maybe their financial situation, not necessarily their spirit, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
It just is a reminder for the list. I mean, and we've talked about this a little bit, but to give investment advice under a fee-only RIA, you've got to have that Series 65 and be an IAR, or if it's a broker-dealer firm, you got to have the register. They went to that Series 7, so you can give advice and you receive a commission, and the 65 will allow you to receive a fee. So, okay, so thanks for walking us through. So it's kind of Dave Ramsey bug. And then you were doing the coaching. I mean, were you charging for that and was it making money?
It was not making money. I hadn't been doing it for very long. the people that I did help was for free, but their fee was 3 referrals, right? And then I hadn't really gotten past the point when I was like, I kind of really want to start digging into this as a career. I was still just helping out my free people and doing it for referrals, and wanted to take it to a more professional state and started looking into it. I'm in a small town in East Texas, Henderson, Texas, and all that's around here is you got some Edward Jones advisors, and I'm real good family friends with a few of them. And, I applied for Edward Jones, and I thought I had all the right referrals. The guy that was helping me out was on the hiring team, and went through the whole entire interview process. It lasted like a month and a half. Thought I was doing well. Interviews went well, and got the sudden email that I didn't get the job. And I thought I had it in the back. From what I was told, there's no other contenders and all those things. And I remember it was so funny. I was so excited about the Edward Jones opportunity. And I wrote in my prayer journal, and I was looking at it the other day, and I wrote in the prayer journal, I said, God, if this is not the direction for me, I need you to slam it in my face, because I am so excited about this opportunity. I need you to close the door right in my face. And then that week, it very much did. And I was heartbroken. I was like, there's no other way into the industry. I had all the references. I had it in the bag and didn't get it. And that was also part of the heartbreak on trying to get into the industry when I had no background. I had no education in it other than just financial coach certification.
Thanks for sharing that. I mean, it's for some people, they're like, I got rejected for a job. No one likes talking about that. Did they share like why they rejected you? Is it because you didn't have enough contacts or people to call, and because you're sort of newer to the area, or what? I mean, I'm just trying to think why they would rule you out.
Yeah, they did not at first. They did not share with me. And talking to the Jones guy, he wanted me to wait a little bit before he actually shared it with me. He told me I could apply again in a year, and that I would be on a list for them to reach out to in a year. And he said there was a few reasons in the interview, things such as, I could work on some presentation type things. But the main thing, and what stood out to me the most, was that I had no sales experience. And I think that's sometimes a common story to people who apply for these big box broker dealers, right? If you don't have sales experience, it's harder to get into the job. And that also put a really bad taste in my mouth, because like I said earlier, that's not why I wanted to get into the industry. I didn't want to sell products, right? I wanted to sell myself and my advice and my heart and service. But I remember actually in one of the interviews, him talking about the different ways that they get paid, and one of them being, based off of commissions and that sort of thing. And, I remember being excited after that interview, but that part just like left a bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, do I really want to do this? It started making me question if I really wanted to go into this industry.
Thank you for not giving up on us. I'm sort of torn. I'm sort of like, bummed that you had to go through that, but also like, well, I'm kind of glad you had to go through that, because it gives you a different perspective. So instead of quitting, you kept working. What were you doing? What steps were you taking to try to move the ball forward?
Yeah. This is all part of the crazy story. As I was in the interview process for Jones, I actually started studying for my SIE, took the Kaplan course, and was like, I don't want to apply for this job, do the training, to take the test, fail the test, and get fired, right? Like, I was like, I'm going to learn the ins and outs before I even get the job, right? So I started studying for the SIE, found out I didn't get the job at Jones. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take my SIE, get that out of the way, and go ahead. And they actually advised me to do about a year's worth of sales experience. And so that was actually my original plan, was like, I really want to try for Jones again, and maybe I can look at a sales job. But let me back up. I took my SIE, I passed. That was great. The day after I took my SIE, I went on LinkedIn and did a job search in the industry to see if there's either a sales job I could have or it's just something to get my foot in the door. And there was one place around me that was hiring that was commutable for me. And it's Holistic Planning. That's who I work for now. And I applied for them. They were hiring a paraplanner. That's what I applied for. And I put on big green letters on my resume, past SIE. I wanted them to, because I had to fight for my educational background, right? Because I had nothing. Past SIE. And I think hopefully that, I haven't asked the guys here if that really was what stood out. Passed SIE on a Monday, applied on a Tuesday, interviewed that Friday, and then the next Tuesday got the job, and then the next day we found out we were pregnant. Our first kid.
Oh, man. Congratulations.
So the 2023 was a year, man. It was certainly a year of change.
Couple things there I want to point out. One, for the firm owners listening, look how quickly that happened. I mean, you got hired in a week, and I'm not saying that you need to do that, but in a competitive job market, you got to move quick. I mean, you maybe hire quick, fire quick, right? I mean, it's like you want to make sure it's the right fit, but man, it just fell into place. That is amazing. So was this just like, hey, this is the only game in town, or why was it a good fit? Tell us more about why you joined this firm.
Yeah, man, I just got to give all glory to God, because as I'm thinking back on it, this is just crazy. So the firm I'm with now, Holistic Planning, I got hired in July of 2023. Well, they started this in March of 2023. They had, as a family, have been with Edward Jones for 40 years. And they broke off from Edward Jones to start their own independent RIA here. And so in my interview, when I mentioned my rejection of Edward Jones because of lack of sales and all those things, that fired them up, right? That we were all on the same page on what we wanted to do for people. And they told me in my interview that I would come on as a paraplanner and just learn the ins and outs of everything, sitting in on meetings, prepping for client meetings, typical paraplanner or associate advisor type stuff. And then in a few years, their vision for me is to break off and have my own practice, either as my own RIA or as one of their branches. They knew that from the beginning. That's exactly what I was looking for.
And maybe just talk more about the firm. I mean, is it just a fee only RIA? Any broker dealer affiliation or anything?
Nope, we are fully independent fee only RIA in Nacogdoches, Texas, and there's not many of those in East Texas, and so our marketing is hitting that hard.
This is amazing to me. Somebody was with Edward Jones 40 years. And they dropped their licenses and said, no, thank you to the trails. That's amazing to me. I mean, that's awesome. That is really awesome.
Yeah.
They gave up their trails.
Precisely. And it was, you can hear they have a podcast. They have another business called Uptick Partners that they just started. It's where basically they help other financial advisors at Edward Jones or at another broker dealer break free because they know how to do it. How to go about it fully from being a full-on broker dealer to the fully independent, not independent broker dealer. They want to help people take the whole step. And so their courage to do that was admirable to me, and they did it for their clients. They did it for their clients because they knew it was in the best interest of their clients, but also just because we do a lot more here than just investing. We also do the tax planning and the estate planning. We actually have a tax division, a CPA on staff to where we can actually do clients' tax returns. So that's I'm learning all the ins and outs of financial planning more than I thought I would ever want to learn.
And talk more, if you would, about your role. I mean, you mentioned like paraplanner stuff earlier. Like what are you spending all day doing?
Yeah, we are in growth mode. Very much in growth mode. And so a lot of it is me meeting with initial clients, talking about our firm. But this past fall, really, most of my job was planning for the year-end tax meetings, prepping all that, looking at all taxable events, that sort of thing. So meeting prep and then post-meeting execution, doing trades, paperwork, all those sort of things. But at the same time, we're already starting a Henderson branch, which is where I live. They're allowing me to work one day from Henderson to where I'm talking to people, getting in front of people, the traditional knocking on doors, doing whatever I can to start building my own clientele. So they're giving me the freedom to do that as well, one day a week and then on weekends, and then, coming back here the rest of the week and taking care of their clients.
So it sounds like you're in a hybrid role. They're kind of paying you a salary of some sort to do the planning and the paraplanner for their clients, but also, hey, Josh, we want to give you some time to go out there and do some business development activities and try to build your own book. Is that what I heard?
Exactly. Yeah, you got it.
That's amazing. I mean, that's really cool. I'm just listening to you talk that they took the risk on you, right, to hire you. I mean, that's kudos to you, but two, that after, 9 months or so on the job, that they're, letting you work remotely and then kind of setting up your own branch. I mean, that doesn't happen very often. So I want you to know that, and also the rest of the listeners to know that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah. Very blessed to be able to have the role that I have, because I still have a lot to learn.
And let's talk about that more. I mean, you're over here, you're there a few months and they've got you looking at taxables. Like, how did you know what you were looking at and what was going on without any CFP training? And just walk us through that.
Yeah. So obviously I was behind the curve because I didn't have the educational background and everything. And I knew that going into it. And so I took this as, I'm going to school every day. I'm getting paid to go to school and I'm going to be learning. And I guess this is some advice I would give to people who are trying to get into the industry or just started. And one, ask questions. I probably annoyed my guys so much. In fact, I know I did it with how many questions I asked when I just messaged them on Slack or text them over the weekend or just knock on their office door to ask them a question. And, I was like, I really hope I don't get fired for annoying them all the time. I had that thought. But just asking the questions and learning, you're not going to get fired for asking questions. You're going to get fired for doing something you don't know how to do, right? Messing someone's financial situation up, right? So yeah, asking questions and just learning, knowing that you're in it to learn.
I mean, you look at our job descriptions on our website and all the ones across it. I mean, one of the things you see on there that pops up, natural curiosity. Yeah, you're right. You're not going to get fired for asking a bunch of questions. I mean, what I would say is, hey, maybe bunch your questions together, group them, hey, can I set a time, at 4:00 on Thursday or something, or once a day, and then just kind of go bang, bang, bang versus just sort of spitballing all throughout the day. But sometimes you just have to do that. But that's something that I know like newer planners, especially new college grads, struggle with. Can we just go back how long were you in the ministry role before I guess you just resigned and then took this new job?
Yeah, I had been with the church for 4 years. I'd only been doing the financial coaching for about a year or so. So I was the youth minister for the church for 4 years and was at a couple of internships in college before that. But yeah, really just only was one church. And my plan was to kind of do this part-time, was to be full-time paraplanner and then part-time helping the church and the youth ministry program. And actually part of the interview, they were okay with that. My guys were all good with that as long as I, did my job. And then we found out about baby coming and it was like, I cannot do all this.
Thanks for sharing that. And just talk to us about how it's going. I mean, do you feel like you're making progress, and maybe where do you feel like you're still falling short? And then just talk to us about the client acquisition side. Have you had any success there bringing in anybody?
I watched my guys prospect in meetings, prospecting through their own clients and then asking for referrals and that sort of thing. And just taking what I learned doing that and taking that to Henderson has been successful. We do have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to marketing in our area. Edward Jones is the only option where I live, and there's 4 Edward Jones offices and the Raymond James office. Other than that, there's no one else doing all that we do with the tax planning and the estate planning and the holistic approach, right? And knowing that we came from Edward Jones, my firm came from Edward Jones, it's been successful in, dare I say, targeting Edward Jones clients and let them know this is why we left. And this is why I didn't get the job at Edward Jones, was because I didn't have sales experience, right? So it has been successful, still learning. I have a personal goal of getting 6 million AUM in 2024. I'm a little bit behind on that. I've just hit 1 million with a client last week. And so
good work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. And I know it is. And my guys know it is, my lead advisors.
And just to set the framework, what type of clients are you going for? I mean, who are these people?
Yeah. Part of it is if I find out someone's a Jones client, I kind of want to talk to them as fast as I can. But, still, I guess, looking for my niche. I'm here to help out anyone. I love helping people get started. So there's young people, but retired folks or close to approaching retirement. Anyone I can, really. We don't have any minimums here. We're trying to set up a structure to where we don't have to say no to anybody. And so we're learning that as we go. But anyone I can, really.
And how are you charging these people when you find them and convince them to come aboard?
Yeah, we just do an AUM fee, 1.25% here at our firm. We were doing 1, and then we implemented our tax division and doing, actually being able to do tax returns, like that's all included. And then we use Encore Estates to draw up wills and trusts for our clients if they need it, that sort of thing too. So all that's kind of packaged together.
That's amazing. Amazing story, Josh. It's so cool. So one more question for you, then we'll get some final tips, but I kind of alluded to this earlier, but where do you feel, I mean, you're just brand new to this, but where do you feel like I'm seeing this and I need to improve either this technical knowledge or this skill set? What are your thoughts there?
I don't know enough about the estate side of things. I know the basics of drawing up living trusts and wills and those, but how other trusts, family trusts, revocable trusts, all those sort of things, how they work tax-wise. So I'm learning all that. Also insurance, my guys were pretty good. We don't sell insurance here, but, we help clients find what's best for them. And learning that side of things, I'm not as well versed in. I got the tax, most tax stuff down, the asset allocation, we're pretty good at that. And I would say probably the estate features and insurance.
What about your confidence with the clients and the prospective clients? I mean, how have you been able to develop that?
I used to struggle with that. It started out with me, oh gosh, am I going to actually be able to help these people? But then I had to start telling myself that I know a lot of things that most people don't know. It's simple to us, like the difference between an traditional IRA and a Roth IRA and how those can be utilized. Stuff like that is just, to me, basic knowledge. I realized most people don't know about that. And I had to tell myself that to help myself in confidence and actually talking to these people. So when I'm knocking on doors or I'm getting in front of people or doing a seminar, I go into it, I have to tell myself that I can help these people. I have knowledge that other people don't have, which is hard to get to at first.
Yeah, and I appreciate you sharing that. I'm just listening to you talk here. I mean, how do you see this role as different than just going, had you gotten the first opportunity and going knocking on doors at Edward Jones? Like, how is this different? Because we have some listeners who are probably like, well, he just joined, he's doing the same thing. It's like, you said you didn't want to sell earlier, but you're kind of doing a component of that. And I'm getting the sense that, hey, it's what you want.
Yeah. And so it's so easy to sell true service. We have nothing to hide. There's no trying to get around fees or trying to get around explaining certain things. We have nothing to hide, and it's just easy to sell yourself if you know you are truly doing it for the betterment of the client.
Love it. Josh, this has been awesome. And any final thoughts or tips or anything you want to leave the audience with?
I mean, as simple as it is, just don't give up. And then it can happen so fast. If you are pursuing this industry, do all the research, start your SIE planning and education early, read all the things, make all the connections you can, and just don't give up. there could be an opportunity right around the corner you have no idea about.
Thanks for coming on, Josh.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the New Planner Podcast. If you're ready to discover the top career paths for financial planners and see which track is best for you, we created a free guide to help you. Grab your copy of the Financial Planner Career Roadmap at newplannerrecruiting.com/roadmap. There, you'll also find more tools and resources all created to help you build a successful financial planning career. Tune back in next week for another episode, and until then, we're here to help you succeed.